throw balls far. You want good words? Data languager.
Talk real sports with a real man.
Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40!
And now, here's the be-all, end-all, know-it-all of high school, college, and pro sports. Aaron Skinny Count with the Skinny on Sports.
We're talking about practice, man. I'm the MVP.
Good Rother Brothers Monday out there, Western Oklahoma. Welcome to the Skinny on Sports, right here on 98.1 FM, the Sports Animal. Glad to have you along for the next hour. Man, we got all kinds of stuff to talk about. For the first time ever, the U.S. in 2 games of the World Cup has already won the group, moved into the knockout round. What a weird feeling for U.S. soccer to have a whole group stage game that flat out doesn't matter.
Right.
For the good. Not that you're already eliminated. You're already moving on. You already won the group. When do we start calling Turkey Turkey? I wasn't sure it was the same country until I saw the flag. I'm like, okay, so it's just Turkey and not Turkey.
Well, they changed it, because they were tired of getting made fun of.
Whatever. Anyhow, so we got that. We got right now with the other results around in the different groups, the U.S. bracket looks mega manageable for the first couple of knockout games. Like, we'll be favored to make it to like the quarterfinals. Then it could get a little tougher, depending on what the results are. It's pretty crazy how this thing has kind of fallen their way so far. So we got that. College World Series Game 3 tonight, Oklahoma. Winning Game 1 on Saturday, 9-3, then lost yesterday 6-2. What happened? It just kind of got the feeling like there was no way they could lose a baseball game with the run that they were on. 9 straight in the postseason. Got out to a 2-0 lead yesterday on Willetts' double, and then all of a sudden, wheels kind of fell off there in the middle innings. So, Game 3, winner-take-all Game 3 tonight. What has to change for Oklahoma to come out on top? Historically, OU was in a great spot yesterday with the championship series. Not so much tonight, if you look at the historical numbers as far as that goes. U.S. Open, Wyndham Clark holds on for a wire-to-wire win out at Shinnecock Hills up in the Hamptons. Really interesting dynamic, I thought, yesterday with the crowd was the way they treated a former U.S. Open champ acceptable?
I guess I missed it.
Was it acceptable the way they treated him? Also, you got to think about will we ever see a former U.S. Open champ treated like that by the crowd in America? I mean, it was something you just don't see. And there are definitely reasons for it. One of them being the tournament was in New York. And that's just love it or hate it, that's the New York way. It's to kind of be nasty.
Are they the fans still buzzing from the parade, maybe? They came over?
Maybe. It was just it was a little weird. It's just not something you see at a U.S. Open for a former U.S. Open champ to get treated like that by Americans. It's just kind of weird, And like I said, there's people had their reasoning that we can get into. Did the USGA give Shinnecock Hills the right test? Lots of people upset Thursday and Friday with how soft and easy, quote unquote, it seemed, and there was reasons for that too with the wind that was being forecast, the wind that showed up. But did the USGA do Shinnecock Hills a disservice? Of course, Ryder Cowan, amazing week for the 21-year-old senior to be at OU. Ends up tied for the low amateur at 5 over par total, a 285 with Jackson Coyven. It was awesome. Totally awesome to watch. And, now it's kind of start looking ahead to what he's got coming. Of course, the Palmer Cup over in Ireland is coming up here very, very shortly for him. He's on that team. senior year at OU, and then what's to come after that, USAM later on this summer as well. So we can hit that, and then we'll hear Jared's review of Vegas, the Sphere. What was it like to watch a concert in there? And then also, it was a great week for softball around Western Oklahoma with the various state tournaments completed. Lots of successful teams from 12U to 10U down to 8U on the softball field this weekend. 225-9698 is the phone or the text line. It is 225-9698. Give us a call, shoot us a text. We can talk about any of those things or whatever else might be on your mind. Feel free to chime right in at 225-9698. If you're going to be outside the listening area, a couple ways to stay in touch with the show. Log on to kadsam.com or download the app. Paragon app's got everything. Radio, Penny News. Brand new edition of the Penny News will hit the website, I think, tomorrow night at midnight. But there's something different happening. We've got to figure out about that as far as that goes. And then you got the Skinny on Sports podcast available anywhere podcasts drop. How are you today, Jared Atha?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine.
How's your weekend?
It was good. Played golf on Saturday with Wyatt in the annual Father's Day tournament.
How did we do?
We did all right. I don't think we did our best, but we didn't do our worst. We shot 6 under, which was good enough to be in the bottom of the top flight. But we had a good time.
Now, did Wyatt help out?
Oh yeah,
in this endeavor. Okay.
Oh, no doubt about it.
Good.
No doubt about it.
I saw him on Friday. I guess it was his day off. He was on the driving range. I guess he might have been getting ready to go hit around. So he was preparing for you.
Yeah, his day off.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure when he works.
I said, what are you doing?
There's a lot of sleeping all of a sudden. Sleeping and playing golf. No, it was to play with my cousins and their sons. And, if the dads could have helped out a little bit more, we might have had a winner. The kids played really well.
Well, good.
Really well. So he was upset or annoyed, I guess would maybe be the better word, because he's older than those other two.
Oh, okay. Which
meant he had to tee off from a totally different spot.
Okay.
So he had to tee off from the blues like a man, and the other two got to hit from like 200 out to start, and so that was perturbing. I'm like, dude, hit it further.
Yeah,
you're older.
Yeah,
that's the way it goes. No, but it was a good time. It was a really good time. Then yesterday, I had Kara's dad and Will and Dina came over, cooked burgers, swam, just kind of hung out. KJ got my golf cart fixed, so I'm ready to roll for this weekend to buzz around the golf course. Finally got the right stuff to be able to do that. So, yeah, it was a good weekend for me.
Good.
What about you?
Good. It was like a long weekend, but it seemed very fast with our trip over to Vegas and checked out Kenny Chesney in the Sphere. It was really cool. Really cool experience. If you get a chance to go see a concert in there, go do it. This is kind of once in a lifetime, so we jumped on it and enjoyed that. But man, getting there and getting back was a headache, man. Our flight on Thursday was delayed. I mean, we're halfway to the city. Allie checks the app. It was delayed by 2 hours. So we're looking like we're gonna get there to set, man, and so. There's that. Fortunately, you gain a couple hours when you head west, and by the time we got to Vegas, it was 8 p.m. Vegas time, which is really 1 a.m. our body clock time. So, we were tired and got in our room with sleep and got up Friday to get enough time, to go walk around and have enough time to do what we wanted to do, and that was mainly just sit by the pool. Enjoyed some Vegas food and stuff like that, and then we went to the concert and enjoyed it. Again, crazy spectacle of a concert inside that venue. I don't care who you go see, just go see it in that venue. I see Metallica's coming, which I thought, man, I bet that's wild in there. And but then we woke up at 7 a.m. at 4 a.m. to catch a 7 a.m. flight, and that was not fun because we get there. And what do you do when you go fly? You get your boarding pass. It tells you what gate you're going to. And then we always check the big board. Once we get through security, just make sure, and we check the board. Well, the gate was different from our boarding pass. So, okay, they switched it. So we went to that gate, and it was on that board there. We sat down, and then the lady comes on and goes, hello, everybody. Welcome to Southwest Airlines. Your flight to Indianapolis will be boarding here momentarily. And we looked at each other. Everybody around there kind of murmured. We all kind of stood up, and then come to find out, it was at the original gate that was on the boarding pass. So we had to run back to basically catch our flight to get back home because we did not want to miss that flight because we wanted to get back in time to watch softball, which we're going to talk about. A lot of successful softball teams out here. Where do you want to start with that?
Now, what was it about the Sphere that was cool?
Oh, man, everybody's been to concerts, and everybody is, and everybody's set up at a concert is something unique or different with the backdrop or whatever. But it's all, kind of uniform. You know where the artist is going to be, what the stage is going to look like, what could be behind him with the big screen or whatever. But at the Sphere, the entire venue is the backdrop, if that makes sense. You look up, it's still the screen. You look to the right, it's still the screen, and to the left. And it just immerses you in this world. Like every song was a different setting. There's no fireworks, there's no pyrotechnics, there's nothing like that. It's just, once you're like, it took me a couple songs to adjust to it because I thought I'm going to get dizzy. This is going to trip me out. And well, once you got it, once you got adjusted to it and you just enjoy it, it is amazing. So I can't, they're doing so many cool stuff. Like I noticed they're doing the Wizard of Oz, which I'm like, okay, Wizard of Oz, whatever. Well, they're doing it where, imagine being in that thing with the tornado scene, and the lady on the bike just going from complete 180 from right to left or something like that. It's really, really unique, really cool. So like I said, every song there's something different that came on and it was really, really neat. Really, if you're big, for us, we're big Kenny Chesney fans. It was really, really neat just to be immersed in his No Shoes Nation world. It was really cool. He brought on Eric Church. That was a surprise guest. Yeah. Sang 3 songs with them. They did a duet together. They have a song called When I See This Bar, and then he did a couple of his original Springsteen and Drink in My Hand. And, man, he really got the crowd into it. That was really cool. Because we had an idea, because it was the opening night of his residency there. And me and Allie were like, who do you think he's going to bring someone on? Who's it going to be? And we were giving all of our guesses because he's collaborated with a bunch of people. We didn't even think about Eric Church. And I'm glad it was Eric Church. Mm-hmm. I've never seen him. I've always wanted to. He brought the energy. It was really fun. Really fun. Really cool. So if you have an opportunity, do it. And if you do it, make your stay in Vegas a little longer. Because it felt like we were there and then we left. When there's so much, as most people know, there's so much to do in Vegas. And we didn't even leave the hotel. Because we stayed at the hotel the Venetian, where you can walk to the Sphere. That was the idea. Mm-hmm. We didn't want to have to get an Uber or a cab, and we figured that'd be a madhouse. So we just wanted everything to be walk. It was a long walk, but it was a walk, and so we never left the hotel. But like most hotels and casinos in Vegas, everything you want is on the premises. They don't want you to leave. And no, I didn't do any gambling. Thought about it. Thought about putting money on the World Cup game, which is cool to be there because you could hear a slight roar on the 2 goals that happened. Mm-hmm. Didn't do that, but I walked over to the sports book just to check it out. Thought about putting down futures bet on the over-under wins for OU football, just have something to root for through the season. I thought about putting down a bet for OU baseball, and then after Saturday, I thought, man, I should have done that because that's looking good at that point. But no, I didn't. So that's when everyone asked, "Did you gamble? How much money did you lose?" Like, I don't gamble. I just don't. I don't. I eat and I swim when I go to Vegas. That's all I do. And I go to a concert, obviously. Again, if you got a chance to do it, go do it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's what everyone says. It's a little bit different.
You have to get used to it. And I'll tell you this, if I had one more cold pop, air quote, it probably would have been a bad deal. I was careful there because I didn't want to – first I wanted to enjoy the concert and remember it. But if I had one more, it would have been like, this is not good. It would have made me dizzy.
Like dizzy, yeah. That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard. All right, so the softball this last week was the OK Kids State softball tournaments, all out here in western Oklahoma, all right along I-40. The 8U was in Clinton, the 10U was in Weatherford, and then the 12U was right here in Elk City. And there was a bunch of success throughout the different age groups. Over in Clinton, the 8U Alta's Pink Sox are the state champs, so they beat Moreland 10-3. Sayre Hurricanes were in the semifinals, and so they made it, out of the bracket play into the championship round, and they were beaten in the semifinals. I know they beat Elk City to get there, as those two teams went at it on Saturday morning to get out of that bracket play. So a great job by all of those teams with Altus winning. Canute, 10U, what's that, 3 in a row?
Yeah, two 8U. This is their first 10U title, but 3 in a row state titles for these girls.
11-3 over Moreland. How did it look like? The Sayre game was close in the semifinals.
All right, so the story on that one for me personally was we were still driving from the city to get to that game, so we're listening. You can listen to it on the Game Changer, and you get used to, okay, that's a foul ball sound effect, or that's a hit, something's happening. You hear that crowd thing, but it was 1-0 Sayre going in, and Canute was the visiting team going into the top of the 5th. Canute needed a run to extend it or a few more to get a lead. And they're down. They get a runner on second, 2 outs. Canute gets a hit out to center field and scores the run, ties it up. Very next batter, another hit out in the right field. Canute scores that run, 2-1. There was an inside the park home run. So Canute's bats came alive. But, I'm talking down to their last out, season on the line. Got to give a shout to Tabor Gray. She went up there. She was the one who got that 2-out hit that tied it up. So, and in that, so I'm pulling up. I'm running into the ballpark when Canute got the 3rd out in the bottom of the 5th to win the game. Shout out to Sayre, though, man. The 3rd time we played them. They've all been good games. And they got a pitcher over there. They got hitters. They've got it put together right now with that group. Keep an eye on them. I believe most of them move up to 12U. I could be wrong. I'm sure not all of them do, but that's a good group over there. So shout out to them getting to the Final Four. And then those bats carried over into the championship game against Moreland for Canute. It was 2-2. They came out and got 2 runs early. Moreland tied it up, and then Canute would run away with it. Again, the bats stayed hot. And I think really for the first time in this tournament outside of one game where it's just a mismatch against Pauls Valley. But the bats stayed hot. The defense was good. Pitching was great. And those girls are special. They've been – I was looking at numbers last night. Since their beginning of 8U all the way to now, of all the games they've played, they've won 89% of them. Of course, the 3 titles, 16-2 in state tournaments. Just an unreal set of girls right now that are playing together and playing for each other, and it's been a wild ride so far, and it's not done with them. But I want to give shout out to Moreland. They always a team at every level. You see them there, 8U, 10U, 12U. They're always there with the team. They're really good. They have some really good hitters on that team and a couple good pitchers too. I mentioned Sayre. Weatherford girls were there. They put on a good showing. Our man Jared has a girl on that team. Merritt was there. Shout out to Merritt on making the state tournament. It was a good representation of Western Oklahoma schools. I hope I'm not missing anybody, at least at the 10U state tournament.
Yeah, and then 12U, the Rumble Ponies, the Elk City Rumble Ponies are the state champs as they beat Shattuck 4-0 there in the finals. So that's you look around. Altus, Canute, Elk City were the champs. Shattuck, Moreland were the were the second place teams in all of it. Sayre and Weatherford. Sayre had thirds. Weatherford had the 3rd in 10U. Yeah, just it's no surprise when this and it's starting to matriculate up into the high schools. It has for the smaller schools, but now you're starting to see Sayre win a bunch more ball games at the high school level in softball. And that's it's really cool. We'll
start with and then go with even at the high school, start looking at junior high scores. You're going to start seeing those. We've been talking about a lot of these teams for a few years now. They're starting to get in. I know personally, my kid and her group, are in the junior high level. That's when you're, it's starting there too, but you're right. It's starting to go up into the high school level too. Did you mention 8U?
Yeah, Altus.
You realize that all the champs came from the Kids Inc.
Yeah, I was going to say Altus is in the Kids
Mm-hmm.
Inc. League, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, that gives you something to do in the fall and the spring if you want to see good softball. You're seeing state championship teams on a nightly basis out there at the Fiveplex. Baseball.
Another reason to play it live.
There you go. Baseball state tournament will be this week. In the 12U, we got some teams. Weatherford, Arnett, and Clinton are going to play the 12U. If I remember right, 12U and 6U are both at Weatherford. 10U is at Salisaw and 8U is at Clinton, or that's vice versa.
10U is at Salisaw.
Okay, then 8U is at Clinton.
Yeah.
And then the top and the bottom, the T-ball and the older kids are both at Weatherford because they've got both of those. So at 12, you've got Weatherford, Arnett, and Clinton. 10U, Thomas making the trip over to Salisaw. And then 8U, Clinton, and Weatherford Black are both there as far as local teams of interest. I know Altus also has, I think they were first and second in maybe the 8U here at the 8U regional.
Okay.
And then, man, Elk City Fire Frogs, they've been pretty good for a long time. They got some kids hurt one game away from state and decided to not force injured kids to play, and so they ended up backing out and not being able to try to get all the way. I know Hammond lost the game to go to state. They lost on Saturday morning, but still a pretty good showing by a lot of those baseball teams as well, and they'll have a chance to replicate what the softball did this week at the various state tournaments.
Very cool.
I was looking to see any updated. The Thunder traded Aaron Wiggins.
Yeah, that came late last night.
To get underneath, or trying to shed salary for the second apron.
More work to do, but you wondered who's on the chopping block.
Yeah, I think everybody's waiting to see what happens to Lou Dort now.
Yep.
Lou Dort, all signs point to Isaiah Hartenstein. The Thunder had the team option and them declining that, but then re-signing Isaiah Hartenstein. The Dort thing, it's the momentum for that is looking like he's not going to be here. Interesting that the Lakers are sort of maybe at the top of that list of teams that are trying to trade for him. I think that'd be funny for Lakers fans who have trashed Lou Dort for these years, having to cheer for him. And Dallas has a new head coach, according to Shams Charania. The University of Michigan head coach Dusty May will be the new head coach of the Dallas Mavericks. So he gets his natty, escapes before the hammer drops, because I know there's a bunch of stuff up there that maybe people think he wasn't doing properly.
Well, sounds like another Michigan coach.
Exactly. Win a natty and go to the pros.
Wow. Before
anything can happen to you. So that's something that happened there in the NBA. Draft tomorrow. Do you realize that?
It's tomorrow?
Yeah.
For some reason I thought Thursday, but I think that's why NFL does Thursday.
Yeah, the draft is tomorrow.
That's tomorrow. Well, cool.
Very interesting. All right, when we come back, U.S. Open, College World Series, World Cup, we got it all. Skinny on Sports on the Rother Brothers Monday.
Rother Brothers Equipment in Clinton is now hiring well-qualified service technicians. If you have 2 or more years of experience repairing heavy agricultural equipment, strong troubleshooting skills, and the ability to read hydraulic and electrical schematics, this could be a great fit for you. Benefits include 401k with profit sharing, 100% employee-paid health insurance with eye and dental, paid vacation, holidays, uniforms, and paid service training. This is a great earnings opportunity for qualified candidates. Apply in person at Highway 183 North in Clinton, Oklahoma. Rother Brothers Equipment.
The Skinny on Sports.
Welcome back. It is the Skinny on Sports, 98.1 FM, the Sports Animal, hanging out here on a Rother Brothers Monday. Big thank you to Mike and the gang over at Rother Brothers, Highway 183, just north of Clinton. Rother Brothers offers a variety of agricultural and outdoor power equipment that is second to none. And all the great state of Oklahoma, not a friendlier or more knowledgeable staff than the one at Rother Brothers. Continue to tell you about Rother Brothers throughout the show today. U.S. Open, it became very, very tense and very exciting and pressure-packed down the stretch. Didn't look like that was ever going to be the case with the way that Wyndham Clark kind of took the reins of the golf tournament early on. I think, we talked a lot about the wind that was forecast and who would have the better of it. Would it be early, late, or late, early? I think at the end of the day, those guys that were able to play late on Thursday and get that hour to 2 hours worth of the wind really dying down. And if you start looking back, that's where Wyndham Clark kind of took control and never let up. He makes the eagle on number 5 and then comes back and finishes later on, the next day. I think the case can be made that hour to an hour and a half, that the delay was about 2 hours, but that end of the day on Thursday when they got the best conditions of the week, maybe until yesterday, he was able to, and listen, he took advantage of it. Like you had to take advantage of that break, and he did, and then, he just kind of held on. He did not, over the weekend, was not his best stuff by any stretch of the imagination, with the bunch of errant shots. But he had an answer every time, it seemed like, when he really needed to get something up and down or hit a really good shot. He was able to find it. And so couple that with the way that he was treated yesterday, I think he showed a lot of grit, a lot of mental toughness to be able to hold on to that lead and not blow it. I mean, he was in Greg Norman territory.
Okay, so break that down for me. How he was treated, for those who don't know.
It was like he was a European Ryder Cupper. He was treated exactly like that. Booing him, cheering when his ball would roll off the green.
And why was that?
I think part of it has to do with the fact that he is playing with Scotty Scheffler. And people were rooting for Scotty. I think part of it has to do with the way he acted after last year's U.S. Open, where he tore up the locker at Oakmont. And I think part of it is people just, he's had some different outbursts throughout the time on tour, like on the course. But even all that, it's hard to it was hard to fathom what was going on. I mean, you're talking about a guy an American that has won the U.S. Open, being treated like Rory McIlroy on the Sunday Seagulls of the Ryder Cup. And to his credit, he handled it. I thought Scotty was really, really, really complimentary of him after it was over. Just talking about how tough a scene that was and how he handled it, and he deserves to be the champion. I thought he was asked the question about last year and tearing up the locker multiple times. Never really defended it. Just answered it and moved on.
Yeah.
Never looked anxious or nervous about it. Just kind of told the truth about what happened. And, I can understand why people would be rooting for Scotty more than Wyndham Clark, but I never really expected the level of vitriol from an American crowd toward a U.S. Open champ like what we got.
And you said it earlier, is it the location because close to those New Yorkers, or does that have something to do with it? They're just a little bit more vocal, for lack of a better term, or a more appropriate term. That has to be part of it, maybe.
maybe about time to skip New York for a while on some of these majors.
Because if it wasn't him, there'd be someone else that.
Oh yeah, I mean there's
go after.
There's just there's a line that they seem to not only push all the way up to, but then cross. Mm-hmm. And so it was just pretty weird. It was just weird to see an American at the U.S. Open have to go through that. But he handled it. And he actually talked about, because last week at Canada, he put on the USA hockey jersey on the hole with all the fans, and how he's like, to be honest with you, that kind of prepared me for what I went through this week. He goes, I knew. He said, I knew and I deserved every bit of that because I was just kind of needling those Canadian fans with the hockey jersey and all that. He goes, but I was ready for it. So it was a little bit different this time because I wasn't quite. Not that I was expecting the fans to cheer for me more than Scotty, but I didn't really think it would be against. And I think that makes total sense. Shinnecock Hills, going in the opens that have been there in the past, it's always been an incredibly difficult venue, firm, fast. All the pre-tournament talk leading up was about the wind and how hard it was going to be. And I think the USGA, they definitely heeded the warning of of what we've seen in the past there, with balls not stopping on greens, and it's the famous Phil Mickelson putting it while it's still rolling from last time. And I obviously don't think they wanted any part of that happening again. But do you think they went overboard to not say have some egg on their face and get embarrassed, and then they went overboard and it didn't show Shinnecock Hills in its true light?
Based on these scores, maybe on what we thought the scores could be. Although I thought weather got better as the tournament went on. But I see what you're saying. It's like, so getting overboard is basically trying to protect these guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I said going in, like on Wednesday, I was talking about, looking. I want to see the best players in the world challenged, and if you're not giving them a challenge, then what are we doing? So I can see a little bit, but you still saw balls roll off. You still saw issues like that. Hell, you even saw rocks in the bunkers, and that they had to deal with and get some real clarity on how do you approach this. Can you move the rocks? So. But yeah, I maybe a little bit overboard.
Yeah, even yesterday the greens were still green, and that's just not something you've seen there. They're normally way more baked out, and they definitely were cognizant of it not letting the course quote unquote get away from them, which is something that we've heard in the past there. And when the wind's 140, I think they didn't want to just see golf balls rolling off greens and having to delay play because the wind was blowing too hard. And they accomplished that. I don't know if you got the true Shinnecock Hills experience that you thought you're going to get when you're going there, with the way that they tamed the golf course down. No doubt about it, they tamed it to try to keep it as playable as possible. And yeah, I can understand it to a certain extent, but I also, it just goes to those guys are so pampered,
Yeah.
and they didn't want to hear them. Having bad things to say, because we always see that. Every U.S. Open, it starts out 2 weeks before, and you see videos of the guys that are going early, and they drop their ball in the rough, you can't find it. And then by the time it's the week of, it's going to play so hard, And then next thing you know, water gets added, and you just I don't know that you're ever going to see 4, 5, 6 over par be the winner at one of these anymore. Because I think the USGA has softened a little bit and kind of listens to the criticisms that the players will give and almost tries to placate to them.
So
more than they did in the past.
I was really anxious today to get your thoughts, of course, of Ryder and his tournament. Going in, somebody called me knowing I was going to Vegas, say, "Hey, can I send some money with you? I'm going to bet that Ryder makes the cut." And it was a joke. We didn't bet on that, but I don't know if you can. But how I want your reaction. Like, what was your reaction when you saw his round one performance and where he was, and like, whoa, is this something you expect? I mean, I think over time we can expect him to play at this level and compete. But man,
did I expect him to be leading the U.S. Open? No.
No,
I
but how elated were you? Like,
it was awesome.
Like, whoa,
yeah, everybody was.
There's the kid. Look at that.
There was a bunch of us out at the golf course watching the last 9 or 10 holes. By the time it got to that point, oh, it was absolutely incredible. I mean, I thought it was so cool because he started on 10 the first day. I thought it was cool when they showed his shot into number 12, the first birdie he made. I was like, oh my gosh, he made it to the TV coverage,
Yeah.
And then he birdied, oh gosh, was it 14 maybe? And all of a sudden he was 2 under, which at that point was tied for the lead. And then I'm like, we're going to see every shot he hits here for a while. And sure enough, we did. And then he took the solo lead on number 17 with the birdie to go to 3 under, and it was just like, is this still Wednesday night? Like I'm like dreaming, dreaming the start that he could possibly have. No, I mean, that he is good. Obviously, collegiately, he's had multiple chances to win this spring, especially. So he can play, but you don't really know in that arena until you get to see it. I mean, he had never played in a major. That's what's incredible about it. He'd never stepped foot on the golf course at a major, and goes out there and shoots 2 under par the first round there at Shinnecock. And heck, at one point on Saturday, he made a couple of birdies to get back to. He started to even par Saturday, made a double, and the next thing you know, he birdies number 5 and number 8, and you look up, he's tied for 5th in the U.S. Open halfway through the round on Saturday. No, I didn't. I mean, I did not expect that whatsoever. I thought after his round Thursday, they asked him, what'd you expect? He was cool about it and was humble about it. He said, I wouldn't have tried to qualify if I didn't think I could compete, Yeah. And so that shows you where his headspace is, even though never experiencing that before, just the confidence that he's got in his game. He's going to Ireland for the Palmer Cup. And while he's there, I just got a text. He's going to try to qualify for the Open.
Awesome.
I'll have to do some digging, or maybe just talk to some people and figure out, because there was multiple questions. Okay, what does this do for him?
Yeah, that's kind of where I went too. Does this change his timeline?
I don't think so, because I don't know. It doesn't. Could it give him more notoriety to maybe see some sponsors exemptions at some point in the fall? Yeah. I think we saw that from Jackson Coyven last year. He had a couple of really good performances kind of in that fall series of, after the majors and then after the playoffs, then, come back. He had some pretty good performances there. That I think that might help, a T23 in the U.S. Open might let some people know who he is more than some, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But as far as like, okay, now he's not gonna play college golf anymore because of what he did at the U.S. Open? I don't think so. But just because I don't – as awesome as that was and as great a performance as it is, it didn't necessarily unlock any doors that weren't locked. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't have status on the PGA Tour or the Korn Ferry Tour more than what he can get with another year at OU and then with that PGA Tour University to where you go to the Korn Ferry Tour, bam, right out of there.
If anything, it could open doors. I mean, with the turnaround at OU, with the change of coaches and stuff, now suddenly he might get some other people's attention.
Yeah, he's staying. He's already announced that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Great.
He's staying.
Okay, I didn't see that.
Yeah, he put out a deal.
I retract my statement. That's good.
Yeah, he put that out a week and a half ago or so, 2 weeks.
I mean, it's like what we're talking about.
But yeah, no, that was on the table.
All these freshman pitchers for OU, you know, we talk about, man, they're on this national stage. They're going to get some attention and maybe get some offers to go to a different school.
No,
this showing like, oh, well, maybe Stanford will call him or you know what I mean? But great, he's staying. That's awesome.
Yeah, he already announced that, and that was definitely on the table in that time frame before when Hibble announced he was leaving and the national tournament, national championship tournament, and all that. Yeah, there was definitely coming off of that some decisions that he had to make, but that's the one that he made to stay there. But no, it was cool, you know. And Denny just texted. It's kind of interesting, right? Because he's from Oklahoma, Jackson Coyven from North Carolina, and they finished.
They both finished.
They finished right there at the top of the amateur in the U.S. Open. Now OU and North Carolina playing baseball against each other for a national championship as well. So that's pretty fun. I didn't even think about that. And I think he's Chapel Hill is where Jackson Coyven's actually from. Sure, North Carolina is kicking themselves for letting him get away to go to Auburn, and he'll start his professional career this week. That was his last amateur tournament. Was there at the U.S. Open, and he's as decorated as amateur as there has been coming out in quite some time. So he'll be a career that a lot of people are going to be watching, and of course around here now the countdown clock, so to say, maybe kind of starts with people realizing how good Ryder is, and then what he can do between now and say this time next year to put himself in a position to be able to kind of springboard into a professional golf career. But no, it was killer. Heck, who knows? He may qualify for the Open, and we'll get to see him at another major.
You never know. It was cool, though, to see, like, yesterday, they featured, like, they're going to break, and you'll see that where the golfers are walking in to get ready for their round.
Yeah.
They showed him.
Yeah.
Goes, teeing off in 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Hear Mike Tirico would say his name. That's pretty cool.
Oh, it was awesome. We'll be back to wrap up a Rother Brothers Monday.
Rother Brothers Equipment in Clinton is now hiring well-qualified service technicians. If you have 2 or more years of experience repairing heavy agricultural equipment, strong troubleshooting skills, and the ability to read hydraulic and electrical schematics, this could be a great fit for you. Benefits include 401k with profit sharing, 100% employee paid health insurance with eye and dental, paid vacation, holidays, uniforms, and paid service training. This is a great earnings opportunity for qualified candidates. Apply in person at Highway 183 North in Clinton, Oklahoma. Rother Brothers Equipment.
The Skinny on Sports.
Welcome back. Skinny on Sports, wrapping up a Rother Brothers Monday right here on 98.1 FM, the Sports Animal. Big night tonight up in Omaha for the Oklahoma Sooners and the North Carolina Tar Heels as the championship series now tied 1-1. OU won 9-3 on Saturday. Got off to a 2-0 lead yesterday, but North Carolina struck back, winning 6-2 over the Sooners to force a Game 3. What happened yesterday that was different maybe than what we've seen in this run throughout the playoffs?
I felt like I didn't see it very well at the plate. As far as hitting is concerned. And North Carolina's bats, I think it was inevitable. You knew they were going to come alive. It actually started that way Game 1. It felt like, even though OU had a lead, gave up the lead, then their bats went away. So it's kind of like polar opposite of games for both teams. So, but North Carolina threw a really good pitcher at them, and just OU outside of the early start, and then, man, just a few inches higher, and Willits has a home run. But outside of that, I just felt like they couldn't get that rhythm going, and they just weren't seeing it very well. Someone pointed out, I'd have to look it up. So the good thing about all this, if you're an OU fan, North Carolina burnt their ace, allegedly. But,
that happened the other day.
Yeah, so that's not – but listen, OU I've been on this train of OU's pitching needs enough credit too. It wasn't there yesterday. It started really well for him, like 6 of the 8 outs or strikeouts for Macarius, and thought, okay, if he can keep him right there, and when it was 3-2 for the longest time, and then even 4-2, if you can just get those bats rolling like we're so accustomed to in this run, maybe they got a shot. But give North Carolina credit. They came into this thing as a really good hitting team, and yesterday was no exception. So for tonight, I think OU's bats just need to get back to doing what they're doing, and we'll see what happens. But for me, I just didn't think they saw the ball very well at the plate. What about you?
I thought they weren't as patient as they've been.
Yeah.
Part of what we might see today is the lack of patience against the freshman, allowing him to be able to come back today. They're 29-0 when he pitches.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah. They have not lost a game when he's pitched. And, Oklahoma, golly, there was a 4-pitch inning early.
Mm-hmm.
It just didn't seem like they were as patient as what they've been. And maybe that was trying to win the national title. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so the approach didn't seem nearly like it has been. And it was just kind of felt jumpy, like they were just not. I wouldn't even call it aggression. It was just like overly aggressive, like too much.
Yeah,
So-
they were trying to put a.
It was.
It felt like that, trying to get that knockout early.
They've done a really good job. It feels like to me they've done a really, really, really good job of not getting themselves out, making the pitcher actually make the pitches to get them out. Yesterday didn't feel like that at all. Felt like they got themselves out, being too aggressive, not being patient enough, and then swinging at the pitcher's pitch instead of waiting to hit a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me was the difference, at least at the plate. And so that obviously, that'll have to change tonight. I think, this is pretty interesting. North Carolina has never won a national title. And matter of fact, been to the second most College World Series without winning a national title. This is the 13th appearance that they've made. Third appearance in the Champ Series. They lost back-to-back years in 06 and 07 to Oregon State. Whereas Oklahoma has won a couple of national titles, but it's been a long time since, and they're 0-1 in the championship series. After winning Game 1, so this has happened since 2003 is when the series started, the 3-game series. The winner of Game 1 has won 63% of the championship series, but that number goes down to 33% if the Game 1 winner loses Game 2. So 2/3 of the time, if you lose Game 1 but come back and win Game 2, you are the one that wins. There's been the last one to do what OU's trying to do was LSU just a couple of years ago. Won Game 1, lost Game 2, and then won Game 3. I mean, I don't know how – I don't know if either team has a quote-unquote advantage going in tonight with what we've seen so far in these two games between the two. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's the case. I think it's just about who can make the pitches, who can make the routine plays. I mean, OU made a couple errors early that didn't help. Just to be calm and just make the plays that are there to be made. And then at the plate, getting back to what they had been doing instead of, I think that was a little bit of a blip, more of an anomaly. Because we've seen for now 10 straight games, 12 straight games, whatever it is, Oklahoma have a certain approach. And then yesterday, I don't know that I'm not saying the moment was too big. I just think they got the possibilities of winning that game and what it meant maybe threw them off of what they've been so good at doing over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, you almost wish they didn't get a start like that because they kept trying to. I don't know. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
It was
mental edge though. Like you mentioned, like North Carolina not winning one in baseball, but being there a lot. So there's that mountain they're trying to climb and get over. And OU it haven't won since '94, and nobody, they're on this miraculous Cinderella run, whatever you want to call it. They want to finish this thing out. We've come this far. Why not let's go win the whole dang thing? I wonder in that, like with that angle, like who has a mental edge or who has more pressure, going into tonight's game. I don't know if I'm OU, if I'm Coach Johnson and I'm giving them the pregame pep talk, it's the ride the wave that's gotten us here, and no one has expected us to go this far, so let's just shock the world. And if you're North Carolina, I mean, what do you tell them? Like, hey, let's go be the first. No pressure, boys, but that's what's on the line. I love this. It's like a Game 7. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, 6 o'clock tonight, ESPN for Oklahoma and North Carolina. Winner tonight is the national champion in baseball. The U.S. played Friday on the soccer field, defeated Australia 2-0, and then with what happened to Turkey later, I'm not saying it. What happened to Turkey?
Don't call them Turkey. Yeah.
Turkey. The U.S. won their group, so the U.S. will advance into the knockout. We knew that after they won 2-0 that they were automatically going to advance, and then when the Turkey game went the way it did, that gave the U.S. the group stage win. First time they've done that since 2010. It's the first time they've done it through 2 games ever where they were already a winner. And so now it's start to look at some other groups as far as who could be in the bracket. And, man, from what I've seen, the U.S. is in a great spot. Bosnia would be the first game, then Egypt. And we're talking about teams that haven't done anything.
Yeah, very winnable.
Yeah, and all the way up until maybe even the quarterfinals, when all of a sudden then you may see Spain, or that that kind of team. But yeah, this is being set up. The possibilities are to be one of the best in modern times, the best World Cup for the U.S. men since 1930 in a third-place finish.
Well, it's about dang time. We've been saying it for months leading up to this. It's okay. The World Cup's coming. That's why I think that's why we were kind of like poo-pooing on the whole World Cup, is because our team's not good. It's not, not looking forward to it because our team's never good in this thing. USA's never good. And maybe competitive at times, but deep down we knew, well, they're not getting past this team or not getting past this round or getting out of this group. But now there's something that's actually, like, you're right. Like, you can see a possibility of having a real good success in the knockout round. And who knows? Shock the world maybe on the way.
Yeah, I mean, they genuinely look like a good team. Like, the skill level is noticeably higher than maybe it's been in the past. So
they play Thursday, right?
Yes.
Okay. I would love Scott's opinion, and I wish it was Friday that they played, so I could ask him before. But this game essentially means nothing,
right?
So what do? Do you play your guys for a half? You want to keep healthy. You want to stay healthy, but you want to,
anybody
that rust
has
versus rhythm argument.
Anybody that has a yellow card, you don't want to play.
There you go. Yeah,
because after this game, the amount of cards goes away, but the suspensions don't. And so if you jack around and get Tyler Adams or a couple of the other defenders a second yellow card, that means they miss the knockout round. So I don't know that you want to play any of those guys. Yeah, I don't know. Pulisic better be 1,000,000% healthy if you're going to throw him out there. Probably not. So you may see some different guys out there for the U.S. But it literally does not matter to the U.S. And matter of fact, I think Turkey's already eliminated too. So this is the definition of a pointless game.
Yeah.
with the results we've seen so far. So,
and some will say, "Well, why are they even playing it?" Cha-ching, cha-ching.
oh yeah, you got to get that. You got to get the hydration break money in.
Right.
No, it's
just
pretty cool.
It's basically a friendly match.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything.
And you probably, at a certain level, because of the success that you've had, you probably are maybe a little bit more cognizant of continuing to play well and win than maybe some other teams in this tournament that will be in the same position as the U.S. But you don't risk anything in order to win it as far as for moving forward.
So during our unplanned delayed flight on Thursday, and so we're had a lot of time to kill. So we went and ate, and we walked around in some shops and stuff there in Yukon. Aaron, I had my hand on a USA soccer T-shirt.
Oh dear!
Because it was the last one left in my size, and I thought, should I? It's on sale. It's right here. I couldn't pull the trigger. I couldn't do it. Maybe I'll go down the road and get a koozie. That's as far as I'll go.
I don't know.
It is exciting.
I think
in all seriousness, it is really cool to see USA men's soccer actually have a heartbeat in this tournament.
And I think it's going to pick up steam. Already picking up steam.
Yeah.
For maybe the non-soccer fan.
I'm really glad this game doesn't mean anything on Thursday because it starts at 9 p.m. our time.
Yeah, everybody was mad about the 2 o'clock start for the other one. Now it's 9 p.m. All right, everybody have a wonderful Rother Brothers Monday. We'll be back tomorrow.
You've been listening to the Skinny on Sports podcast with Aaron Cowan. Be sure to hit that subscribe button to get alerts of when the latest podcast is available. Thanks for listening.
That ball